right, I'm CJ here with room A-108. Who we got here with us today?
Coach Brown, James Brown.
Coach Brown. We's here at Glazier Clinics today, February 7th, the weekend of the Super Bowl. We got a coaching clinic going on in Oak Brook, Illinois. Let the people know what's going on today, what your involvement is, and I guess what the overall message and objective is this weekend.
How you doing? I got 30 years of coaching. I've been coming to this clinic about 22, 23 years. I've coached at various levels. In this clinic, you see college coaches, you see a couple pro scouts here. You see everybody here. Everybody comes and we share the knowledge and we exchange knowledge in football games. And football has not changed. So you get to talk to people. I just met with D-line coach from the Minnesota Vikings. So I'm here as a staff member because I've been here so long. I've been as a staff member. My job is to introduce and talk to people about the presenters.
I got you. From your experience with the clinic and as a coach, you mentioned some time you had as a referee and as an official, correct?
Yes.
What would you say going forward would be your kind of your outlook on the way we can change and be better as teaching the game, officiating the game, and all of that, all wrapped up in one?
Well, first of all, every coach should take an officiating class so they can understand the rules and understand what officials supposed to be doing or not. I think every coach will become a better coach if he takes an officiating class. I can tell you 100% that coaches need to stop using excuses that the official took the game from him or he made a close call. All the breaks that you look for that are inside the game, and you can breaks are in the game. You know, one inch too short, you don't get a first down. You jump too soon, you don't catch the ball. You get there too late, you don't make the block. The breaks are in the game. Understand the difference between physical mistakes and mental mistakes, and then you go from there.
All right, last question before we take too much of your time. This man got work to do. Like I said, Super Bowl weekend. Give me your what you think is gonna happen on Sunday?
I'm a little biased, man. I got a kid playing with Philadelphia. So, yeah, Jalen Hunt, good kid playing with Philadelphia. And, my buddy coaches at Kansas City. So I'm caught in between.
So no official prediction, but you think it's gonna be a good game?
I will never bet against Pat. If Philadelphia don't blow them out, he's gonna beat them.
Got you. All right, man. We appreciate you. All right, y'all. Welcome back to room A-108. I'm CJ, and it's a special day for me to have on somebody that I got a lot of love and respect for coming back home to Chicago. Somebody that I met coming up on 20 years now on the campus of Concordia, Chicago, out in River Forest for the Minnesota Vikings. Pat Hill is here with us.
Yes, sir.
I just want to give you a minute to talk about kind of why you're here this weekend. You're here in town for the Glazier Clinic, Coaching Clinic. Just let us know what's going on, bro.
Yeah, man. So, right now, unfortunately, we on break. Season ended. Super Bowl coming up, this Sunday, man. And so Glazier reached out during the season. Actually, I come do some speaking. And so, I'm going to speak tonight, start at 6:30, go 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. All 1 hour sessions, talk some D-line play. Came in yesterday, a brother of mine's DC at Olivet Nazarene University, and then the head coach is Bunt Mitchell. So I went in yesterday and spoke to them, D-line play, and then decided to come on over here today, speak defensive line play, talk a little football, talk a little ball. And so, yeah, man, I'm back here in Chicago, my third home.
I was getting ready to say, I know Chicago hold a special place in your heart, bro. Other than just being here, we met in college, but a little bit about your story from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yep, Boot baby.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out to Super Bowl down in New Orleans. So shout out to hometown. But then you ended up in Detroit.
Yep.
And then obviously where we met, out in Chicago. But
yeah, man.
What do you got to say to a big portion of our fan base in Chicago, bro? So what do you got to say to everybody out there in Chicago? Why do you love the city so much, bro?
Man, it helped grow me up. You know what I'm saying? The people, the food, the banter, the fan base. My family's from Chicago. The Maxis. Jabba Maxie, Bubba, Jeff. And then Jabba's wonderful wife, uh, Val Warner. Right. So I got a lot of family here in Chicago. Went to school here, like I just said, got 2 degrees, undergrad, then got to come back and got a master's, so I love the city, man. You know what I mean? I ain't saying I can live here, it's busy.
You could.
You know what I
You
mean?
could. Now you definitely a
but
little you definitely a little bit more on the low key side. You like me. But so one thing I do want to ask you about this weekend and why you here.
for sure.
Um so outside of, your one-on-one coaching in season with your position group, what is it about settings like this? Being able to speak as a coach at a coaching clinic, what is it about this type of setting with coaching that gets you excited?
I just think that, a chance to learn, man. Right? Learn, then give back information. Right? Because I used to come to these clinics.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I learned from Glazier clinics, and then never knowing and when my chance would be that I can come back and coach at a Glazier clinic. Right? So it kind of go full circle, man. Like I'm only 37 years old. Right? Started coaching when I was 19. So being in the position to come back and do a Glazier clinic is like it's cool. Like I'm have all these dudes in this room, and I got the remote control, and so I think it's that kind of setting, man. Like it's all levels, that's gonna be here, and so I just think a chance to teach, a chance to learn, a chance to learn, a chance to learn,
Mm-hmm.
because oftentimes within the crowds, you get great questions, and I think those questions that coaches give you also help make you a better coach. So that, it give me a chance to go back and maybe retool something, add something to my, my toolbox. So,
Yeah.
That's why I love it.
So I saw a lot of. I told you, we met in the lobby a little while ago. I saw Coach Weaver, head coach of me and Dave's. Me and Dave's high school, Thornwood High School. We saw him down in the lobby. We chopped it up for a minute. A lot of athletes here too.
Sure.
I saw a lot of kids here. So like when you get to kind of this atmosphere, and you get into your role, into your bag of coaching. I know you talked about you learning from them just as much as they learning from you. So like when you think about that as opposed to when you coaching in season, because you can't do a lot of this in season.
No.
This is strictly off season, right?
Yeah.
So when you think about your coaching in season, your position group up there in Minnesota, and then you branch off, you hear, is there any difference to like what you're teaching or what you're trying to, the gifts that you're trying to give to other people? Is there any difference, or are you just really I'm just out here being me? Hopefully you take a lot from me and then I can take from you, but like, what is there any like a compare and contrast or?
Truth be told, man, I think for me, I think I'm at this thing here. It's about fundamentals and giving back skills to help develop players. So, I would say, and you're here tonight is one of my greatest assets was, I had to coach youth football in the summertime to make money, right? So coaching 6-year-old kids, right, how to get in 3-point stands, like that was terrifying. So for me, when I'm at a youth football camp coaching, a Glazier clinic, or NFL, for me, really, teaching is the same. I don't assume anybody knows anything. I use that. I use the analogy of like, when you have a baby, you don't feed the baby, a whole carrot, right? The parent gonna do what? Put it in their mouth, break it down, spoon feed it back to them.
Right.
So for me, at this clinic, it's the exact same thing I do, because I do that when I'm coaching youth football, NFL ball. I do it the exact same way. So
for sure. One of the things that you had mentioned a couple questions ago, you said you started coaching at 19, and one of the things that always blew my mind after our couple of years we had spent at Concordia, when we had kind of branched off and everybody went on their own lives, it was like, man, Pat got out of the playing game and into the coaching game like that, bro. So talk a little bit about when you left CUC, what was kind of the inspiration that led you right into coaching just off top. You didn't even really spend no time doing, any like vocational work. You didn't spend no time soul searching, nothing. You just right into coaching. So like,
Yeah, so remember, I think like most of us, we all grew up wanting to be a professional athlete,
for sure.
right? And that was the goal, right? And I think God knew my passion for coaching, well, my passion for football, and so to go kind of into it, but not too deep, was I had a guy come to my church and prophesize my life and say, "Hey, look, man, God told me the NFL, the devil stole your football scholarship, but don't worry about that. You get that back and more." So I get to college, man. I'm playing, my first year played, and then my heart disease flared back up, right? And so I had two heart surgeries in high school, and so they kind of flared back up my freshman year at Concordia, So I kind of dealt with that, struggled with that. My grades went down. I was terrible, as you remember.
Put that on me, bro.
Hey, look, King of Madden,
man.
right? I play Madden all day, but wasn't going to class. So
you hold a special place in people's heart who play football, bro. Like people love the sport, but people don't understand what it takes to play the sport.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of people like we love the quick A to Z stories of somebody like somebody that you would know, like Justin Jefferson. World renowned athlete. Just it's easy for him.
But even him,
but people don't understand the stories of people outside of that who struggled and who don't make it, and you have to deal with things like that you dealt with. You know what I'm saying?
But even like JJ, Justin, right? Jets. He was on. He was a 2-star athlete.
Mm-hmm.
So chip on his shoulder, right? Goes to LSU, then becomes who he is. Mm-hmm. So even him, it wasn't overnight success.
Okay, I do want to ask you a little bit without holding your feet to the fire on this Viking season. You guys had a hell of a season, bro. Not a lot of people thought that y'all would end the season where y'all ended it. When the predictions came out for the North, it was everybody thought Lions at the top, of course, and then it was a battle between y'all and Green Bay, and then everybody, of course, thought the Bears were going to bring up the rear. But when you think back on, without talking too much about how it ended and whatnot, but how do you think back on this past season and the good and the bad, and what do you learn going into next year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all good, right? Like because it started day one with KO, right? Kevin O'Connell, our head coach, called him KO.
Shout out KO.
Sorry, KO, man. Like he came in, made it very simple, like just be 1-0, and it was the guys in the room, the players in the room, the staff in the room, the support staff, and then having amazing leadership as Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores, Wes Phillips, right? Them coordinators, and Hat Daniels. He made it easy for us. Like we didn't care about the noise outside. We cared about the camaraderie in the room, the fellowship in the room, the men in the room. And so for us, like it was fun, bro. Like because you out here just thinking about being 1-0. Mm-hmm. You're not worried about the overall record, how many games I won in a row, what I did at this point, And so it started in the preseason. I think we won all our preseason games, right? But for him, KO being who he is, and understanding how to get us all on the same page and be on one accord, that was where it was fun at, right? And so, whether it was coming to Chicago, right, being forced into overtime, right, that led to building some resiliency, pull that game out and still win that game.
Yeah.
Green Bay game in Green Bay, all those games, man, and that experience was amazing, right? And then you don't realize how fast it go by.
Oh yeah.
Like seeing you in Jacksonville, coming down, seeing me for the game.
I'm gonna speak on that in a minute too.
Right, like so the season went by so fast, and obviously it's on. At the end of the day, man, it's gonna be one team. 31 teams is gonna so-called not have it end well. One team gonna be successful, and so wasn't our time. It ended early, but overall totality, it was amazing, man. I had a lot of fun, a lot of great memories, in the players. We had a blast, bro. But it goes by so fast. Sure. And then how it ends, it just ends. That's where I had to grow up. My first time being in the playoffs, second year in the league. When it ends, it was over.
It's got to be it's got to be like a super shock to the system, you know,
For
because
sure.
you're doing you have so much success in the regular season, you get to the playoffs and it's like y'all feel like y'all rolling,
Yeah.
you know, and then you get to that game and then it's just like you hit a brick wall and it's like, damn, what's next? You know,
That's
so
it.
I got to feel if anybody here is kind of like the hustle and bustle behind us, this is what's going on this weekend with Glazier Clinics, man. It's a lot of people here, a lot of coaches, a lot of players here, a lot of people learning from each other and teaching, which is why we came here to talk to Pat. But you mentioned KO.
Yeah.
Last night, AP NFL Coach of the Year.
Congratulations.
You got anything? I know you. I could give you the floor. You could probably speak for hours on KO, but you got a message you want to send to KO on his award?
Man, congratulations. You earned it. Incredible leader. Like, I mean, man, he leads well. And you know what I mean? And so it's easy to follow a guy that has an amazing vision, and they really keep it simple for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all the noise we blocked out. And I think that came from leadership. I think that came from KO. So getting this team to grow in that area, you know, I'm excited to be back for year 3. You know, blessed to be back with KO again because he's electric, man.
one of the things that we as Bears fans have seen, and I know a lot of like my brothers, a lot of my homies, we have our group chats and we talking.
Yeah.
One of the things that by Sunday night or Monday, when the Vikings start sending them clips out of KO in the locker room, that's one of the things. They go viral quick. And the way that you speaking of him, it shows in those clips, man, just of him just being all about the people, all about the players. And like his passion comes through in those clips, man. When you show those video clips and the way he speaks, you know, of course to y'all, but the way he speaks to the players, man, like it's no wonder why y'all had the success that y'all had. And we just hoping that we get somebody like that one day.
Yeah.
Y'all going? Can we have him? Like,
no. He stay where he at, man.
All right. So you said something. I'm gonna speak on this real quick. You said I did back in November. Jags played the Vikings down in Jacksonville. I was fortunate enough to be off. I went down there to go see my boy. Some of the guys that we spent time with in college are actually Florida guys.
Yep.
JD, Jaron Davis, shout out JD, big Jags fan. So it was a group of us, KB, Jerron, big group of us had linked up down there in Florida. And I ain't gonna give up too much of your sauce, but I promise y'all, the day before the game, we all met up, we had dinner, we went back, we met up, we dropped Pat back off at the team hotel. And I remember asking you, I was like, so what's the key to the game? And I ain't going to give you, but the way that you spoke to us and said how y'all needed to attack the game is exactly the way the game went.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the biggest testament to a coach is you went into that game saying y'all needed to do X, Y, Z. You said if we don't do X, Y, Z, it's going to go this way.
Yeah.
And the way that you said it, I promise you, if I could pull back if y'all could be a fly on the wall for that conversation, I guarantee you, the way Pat said this game is gonna go, it went that way. And shout out to you for preparation and the way that you went about it. But I would say for me personally, seeing you like in your element and just being a coach, like being able to see you do your thing, to predict it and to see it come out the way you said it was gonna come out.
Yeah.
Hats off to you, bro.
Appreciate it.
For sure. So, all right, I got a couple more questions. I got to ask you. I know you're not going to go into too much detail on this, but as somebody who coached against in the NFC North, the Bears just hired Ben Johnson as their head coach.
Yeah.
What are the struggles? When you look at a Ben Johnson offense, how do you go about combating against it as a defensive line coach?
As defensive line coach,
or just from a defensive side. But even if you want to just speak just with your position group, what do you teach your guys on the line? How do y'all got to be disciplined and what are the things that you teach your guys going into a game against Ben Johnson?
Yeah, I mean, be able to, be able to make adjustments within the game, right? Because Ben's not gonna. I'll keep it very, very brief. Ben's not gonna make it easy for you. Point blank. Period. Like he ain't gonna make it easy for you. You be able to adjust and then continue to have counters throughout the game because he's gonna keep you on your toes, keep you on your heels, right? And so because of that, be adjustable, be able to get back good feedback on the sideline. But Chicago has a great play caller and leader, with Ben Johnson.
You spent some time with Coach Prime. Can you give a little bit of some input or insight on Prime as a coach? And were you surprised that he didn't take the Cowboys job?
I think I would have been surprised if he had taken it, just based off things I knew about him previously. But working with Prime, man, was keeping your toes. I'm gonna say it again, like you better come ready, And I forgot how he puts it, but don't let his confidence make you insecure, right? Like, and you can feel who he is in the building.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, and Prime was good to me, right? Like, got mad love for Coach Prime. Took a chance on me from LSU. Right?
He seems like he like KO on steroids.
Yeah,
but they both big on the building and big on
absolutely
building each other up in the building. And I know that's something that you talked about when you praise KO. But
both of them have come in. They both are believers. Both real good, strong men of God, and which creates a good environment to work in. For me and how I view it, I think their leadership, man, is incredible. How they galvanize men, lead men, and give us great direction.
2025 is here. What's the vision for you, not only personally, but when new league year starts, after the Super Bowl, when new league year starts for not only Pat Hill, the man, but Pat Hill, the coach? How are you attacking 2025, bro?
Right now, learning off things we did, last season, making tapes, cut-ups, just going back to reevaluate what we've done, how we can be better next season. And then really just excited, bro, like, because you feel like, there's more meat on the bone. But move forward, get past it, and now just learn from the mistakes. And let's see, if we can learn from those mistakes and then be playing this time next year.
For sure. One thing I will say before I let David ask some questions, man, is not only anybody that's here for this clinic, but anybody that runs across this man at any point in their life, know that when Pat Hill got a goal in mind and when it's time for you to accomplish something, you a million miles an hour until you accomplish it. And that's one of the things that I've always admired and appreciated about you, bro. Like, you speak things into existence. You big on just putting good energy out into the universe, man, and just expecting and waiting for it to come back to you. So that's one of the things that I always say, man. I'm proud to call that man a friend, a brother. And anything else you got out there for your people, for your family? You want to give a shout out to anybody? Anything you got going
on? My
mom's,
man.
Sure.
My mom's,
Mama
man.
always. Hey, when I came down there to Jacksonville, you made sure you had a meal for Mama.
Yeah, for sure.
We came up to the hotel room. You was up there banging already. She gave you that home cooked meal. Yeah, for sure. But for sure, any message you want to get out there to friends, family, whatever you got going on in the future?
No, man, excited for the future. Like, excited for everything that's to come. A lot of work ahead, but you continue to stay focused on the task at hand and what's to come next. Focus on the next. Your past is your past. You can't change none of that. For me, I think I'm very intentional about how can I find a way to get better. And if you can just, I told a couple of guys at the end of the season, can you fall in love with criticism and being critiqued? If we can chase criticism, we can chase correction. That's where we can get through that threshold and become a very special group. And so, for myself, same. It's like this whole next 12 months, right? Fall in love with correction. Be corrected, be coachable, and pour it down to the players. So that's what I'm excited for, man. Just a chance to go and go do it again.
For sure, man. Appreciate you. Love you,
You
bro.
too, bro. Love you too, dog.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Yeah.
All right, man. I just want to say again, appreciate you for coming on Room A-108.
Appreciate you, man.
Talking with my buddy CJ. Well, I know it's your buddy too, but it's a pleasure, man. This is it's quite the environment here. So I heard you talking to CJ earlier about you started coaching when you were 19.
Yeah.
I also started coaching when I was 19 years old. So when you're that young, you're not coaching for the money because there's not that big paycheck coming along.
Sure.
So was it the passion that really kept you with it, or like because you started off what, Little League? You said you started off with?
No, so I started off at Concordia.
Okay, well, I mean, coaching wise.
No, I started
okay.
Yeah, I was at
All right.
Concordia. So I was a student coach.
Okay.
And so in the summer times, I would go back in Detroit and coach youth football.
Okay.
To make a little extra cash.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying with this Glazier thing. It's like you're hungry. You got to be hungry for the information or whatever. So that's why I giving back. That's big right here. So, how did you like coaching when you were 19, and how was that compared to you now as a coach?
I still love it, man.
Like, no, right.
Like a kid.
Yeah.
I was nervous my first time coaching because I was coaching guys that was older than me.
Okay.
Right now it kind of makes sense because some of the guys I coach is older than me. Now I'm older now, but I think to answer that question, man, like at 19 and 37, it's still the same. Like I still want, I use the analogy about like the fruit.
Okay.
Right? You're green, you ripe, you rot. Right? You're green, you ripe, you rot.
Okay.
So for me, I'm trying to stay green. Like keep learning new things because at some point, if at some point you're gonna ripe. And if you don't learn something new or go get uncomfortable again, they'll throw you out. You'll right away. So for me, it's like it's still staying green, right? Even in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm still learning coverages. I'm very green in that area. So for me, I think in life, finding ways to what can I be green at within my field, and then that's how I think you keep the drive.
Okay. And so, staying in that same lane, what would you say is the biggest difference in the different levels of coaching, and what's the biggest similarities?
So the differences is I feel like in college, I was more of a dictator.
Okay.
Right? NFL, yeah, it's not happening.
I was going to say, you can't do that.
Nah, it's like a partnership.
Right.
Right? And honestly, man, it's like, because, they're grown men, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, they've gotten here and they've been doing what they're doing for a long time.
Yeah.
So you got to know how to approach them, which means you got to learn them.
Yeah.
Right? They got to know they can trust you with information.
Yeah.
So I think that's the similarities in all of it is, do the players trust you?
Yeah.
Right? Do they know you have their best interest at heart?
Yeah.
And then do you care about them? Right? And so for me, it was Little League, high school, college, now this level, I care about my players.
Yeah.
Right? Like I love the guys. And I think that's that bond that they can see in me is that I care about them.
Yeah. All right. So a little off the topic of football. We've been talking a lot about football.
Yeah.
What else are you a fan of sports wise?
NBA, man, golf. Love golf. Love a lot of golf.
All right.
I be here a lot. Summertime golfing with CJ. But I love sports, man.
Okay.
I use boxing a lot for coaching D-line. Right.
Nice.
Right now, honestly, like, I get into it. One of my players in particular, we get into it, but like, I like WNBA right now.
Oh yeah.
More than the NBA right now.
Yeah.
Because of the style of basketball. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I got a chance to watch Caitlin Clark play in person.
Okay.
Angela Reese play in person.
Okay.
In person. So I think right now, like, I love WNBA basketball too.
Okay. So speaking of, I'm gonna touch on both of those. I'm gonna come back to WNBA, but
For sure.
I had an NBA question. So there's been a lot of trades going on right now. How do you feel about the recent? Well, I guess most notably Luka and AD, that big trade. How do you feel about that?
Luka, man, look, let me tell you something. My initial reaction, I was laying on the couch and I grabbed my phone. I said, "Oh, it's the Lakers." Right? Because my mind was like, the Lakers always has a star.
Yeah.
Like, they always keep a star.
Yep.
Right? But to kind of play devil advocate, right? They all saying that, LeBron don't have any doing he didn't know. I'm gonna say this right here. If we both know that I think Kyrie's a free agent this summer.
Okay.
Right? He can opt out.
Yep.
Right? So don't be shocked that Kyrie finds himself in LA next year. And this whole thing about, LeBron didn't know, because he could put all this together.
I don't buy that you don't approach your franchise player with the trade like that. I don't buy that.
And, right, and it's never happened before. For LeBron. Right. So because to me, it go a little deeper.
Yeah.
Right. You got to think like Chris Paul was supposed to be a Laker. Right.
They nixed that.
Who nixed it though?
The NBA.
Right.
David Stern.
So at that time, the Pelicans didn't have an owner.
Yeah.
The NBA owned the team. There was one owner in particular that opened his mouth and got it nixed.
Yep.
Mark Cuban. Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
Well, who is not in charge right now?
Cuban's
the Mavericks.
Cuban's
not in charge of the Mavericks right now. So now you can see the Lakers come back. Right now in my mind, the Lakers going to come back and get their lick back by getting Luka. So it just wouldn't shock me if in the offseason you see Kyrie Irving opt out, ends up with the Lakers because he loves Kobe, and now you got the Lakers run Luka next year, and then now the NBA can have that story where the Lakers make it and the Boston make it again in LeBron's final season.
Yeah, and just my perspective of it, like I know a lot of people they want you to pick a side, but I honestly believe that both teams benefited from this trade. I think Dallas is in win right now mode, right? So AD is still AD at the end of the day. So he's that. I mean, I'm taking him. I'm maybe only taking Jokic, Wemby, and Embiid over him, but that's it. And that's debatable, all three of them. And matching him with Kyrie, even he said, he got interviewed. He was like, man, I've always wanted to play with Kyrie. And it almost happened prior to him going to the Lakers. And then Lakers also get their next franchise player when LeBron leaves. I mean, we all know LeBron's only got a couple years left. And they get that franchise player to build around. Like you said, they always have that marquee player. So I think both teams benefited from it. I think a lot of people are just up in arms about stuff just to be up in arms about stuff. But I saw it and I was like, I think both teams came out pretty good on this one. So
too, because I think, man, Anthony Davis, argument could have been made that the finals that the Lakers did win.
It was because of him.
Thank you.
It was because of him. How many clutch shots? He won the game. Like, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then LeBron said that in that Knicks game, in the locker room, LeBron said to himself, AD's our best player.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get an argument out of me at all. Yeah.
So, and I think that team right now, it's a legit team.
Yeah.
Right. And, I think they just traded for Caleb Martin.
Okay.
To the Sixers, I believe. I think they traded Caleb Martin to Dallas. So AD gets to go back and play the 4. As he's been saying, I want to play the 4.
Okay.
They got depth too.
Yeah.
Right. I think the thing about the league is like who's gonna have depth.
Yeah.
So like you can easily predict that those final 3 teams, 4 is probably gonna be Dallas, right? The Nuggets, right?
Yep.
Boston, and OKC. But now experience may knock out OKC because I'm pretty sure Dallas has been the one that's been knocking OKC off every single time in the regular season.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So if they win a ring this year, then truthfully, they won. They won it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. And so I also wanted to touch on the WNBA because that's a big ongoing debate with Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. So how do you feel about so first of all, it's a 2-part question.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, how do you feel about their rivalry?
Yeah.
And do you feel okay, let me ask you that question first. How do you feel about that rivalry? I'll ask you that first part.
Okay, so I'm gonna compare this rivalry. Okay. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
Okay.
Rival in college. Came to the NBA, Boston, right, in LA.
Yep.
To me, you put the same exact Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
Yep.
Same kind of rivalry.
Yeah. I agree. Now, if you were a franchise, who would you rather have?
Ooh. I gotta go with the home team, man. I'm from Louisiana.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Angel all day. Like,
all right.
That's where I'm from. What I mean?
I got you.
I coach LSU.
Yeah.
She's at LSU, right? Bayou Barbie. So I gotta go with home team.
Yeah. and I guess technically now she's a home team for me as well.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything negative to say about Angel Reese.
Yeah.
I really don't. I just have a compliment to Caitlin Clark because I think with her, she's so Angel Reese. See, it's hard to say this because when I say this, it sounds like I'm hating, but I'm not. So, like, Caitlin Clark was getting all the viewership in college, right? Even before that LSU game. Mm-hmm. That LSU game put women's basketball over the top. There's no denying that at all. And that's because of Angel Reese being her, embracing her, and talking her talk, and backing it up. But as an individual standpoint, we weren't getting that viewership for LSU games like we were getting for Iowa. And I think that's because it's not even just about skill set because it's two different positions. I think it's about how Caitlin Clark is a different player than we're used to seeing in the WNBA.
Yeah.
It's not like, we have, Sabrina, we have all these great players that came before, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Maya Moore, and it's not a knock to them. This is just different. You know what I mean? And this is something that's different to the game that's bringing more eyes. So that's kind of where I see it at, and that's why I think money-wise, I would want to start with a Caitlin Clark. But to me, I don't think you can go wrong because I think Chris would know too. I think the Sky sold out as soon as we got Angel Reese. So I mean, she's bringing that attention too. Man. So that's just my perspective
and
of it.
But champions.
Yeah. So I mean, it's fun.
Hold on.
She's not she hasn't won any titles yet. Caitlin Clark.
Angel won a championship.
Angel did. She talked and she walked it.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's like both of them are elite players.
Yeah.
Both of them are going to be generational players. Change the game for sport.
Yeah.
I think they both have enhanced the WNBA brand.
Oh yeah.
And they both came in with a lot of pushback from the older heads.
Yeah. It's
and
a lot of
their ground.
It's and again, I don't want to say hate, but like, and I actually to an extent I think it's justified because a lot of those older players in the WNBA, they're like, we worked just as hard and we were just as good and we didn't get that recognition. But like you said, like the NBA was dying at that point before Bird and Magic got in there. Bird and Magic came in, they kind of brought that rivalry, that brought eyes to it. So they're just bringing a new dynamic to it. And I'm more interested in watching the women's college game and to an extent the WNBA than the NBA. So, and it's because of that. It's because of that. So I agree with you on that. So, but also I wanted to touch on, you said you're a golfer.
Yeah, man.
Okay. All right. So, CJ and I spent a lot of time on the golf course. We both come from a common job that we used to work at. We a lot of golf outings. So we gotta hit the courses whenever you come back out here next time, man. It's always a good time.
It's a good time, man.
What's the best part of your game and the worst part of your game?
Best part of my game is probably putting.
Okay. That's tough. That's the hardest part for most people.
Putting. Worst part of my game is probably when I pick up my driver.
Okay.
Right. I went a whole season where I had no driver in my bag.
Got you.
Hitting all irons.
Yeah,
But if I got that driver, I'm terrible, right? Because they always say let the club do the work.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, man. Like I get the driver in my hand, I over grip it, always squeeze it. I'm like, man, I'm gonna kill it.
Go big or go home, right?
I don't. You know what I mean? So the driver is my nemesis.
Okay.
But my putter is my best friend.
Okay. And I'm the exact opposite. Most of the time we go out, we play scramble, our best ball.
Yeah.
And everyone usually counts on my drive. After that, I'm done. Once I drive, I depend on everybody else. But so I'm the opposite. My drive is the only thing really going for me. But that's only because I got a hand-me-down club. It was a tailor-made like $600 driver that a guy he just didn't like, and he was like, "Here, you can have it." I'm like, "Oh, shit. I'll take it." But I also wanted to touch on you and CJ. You went to Concordia.
Yep.
All right. So even CJ doesn't know this. So I was a kicker in high school. So I was born with a lung condition. I played sports all through elementary school and high school. The doctor didn't want me to play football because if I puncture a lung, I only have one functioning lung. I love the sport, so I didn't want to give it up. So I was like, if I kick, will you let me play? And he was like, oh, yeah, cool, just kick. Little did he know I was kicking the ball and running downfield and getting tackles, but that's besides the point. Concordia was the only school that actually recruited me out of high school. So I was going to go there. But I just didn't have a passion to I didn't have a passion to be a kicker. I love football, but I didn't love being a kicker. So
For
if
sure.
I fell in love with it, but it's a small world. Are you 06 like him? Did you graduate 2006?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
out of high school, I mean,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Man,
All right, so
06
we would have
sounds
been there.
crazy.
We would have been there together all at the same time. So that's a small world. But yeah, man. No, we appreciate you coming by for sure. You are welcome to come by anytime
For sure.
as a guest on our show. It's an honor. Keep doing your thing.
We'll do. Thank you.
And we are watching. And we are about to talk you up all through our podcast, man.
Please do, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
thank everybody for stopping by. It's another episode, Room A-108. Much love.
Thank you, guys.